Hi guys, welcome to Movie on Recap. In today's video, we will be going through the 2017 romance thriller film You Get Me. It's time to recap. Let's get started. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The movie begins by showing a handsome man named Tyler. He is a high school student who is currently in a romantic relationship with a beautiful girl named Allison. Since dating Allison, Tyler's life has become more colorful. But Tyler has never asked Allison to meet her parents because Tyler's parents are very busy. Usually, Tyler is only accompanied by his younger sister Tiffany. Tyler works as a waitress at a cafe located on the beach. Tyler and Allison have close friends named Gil and Lydia. The four of them are inseparable friends. They often hang out together at the cafe where Tyler works. One night, Tyler, Allison, and Gil plan to go to a party. Arriving at the party, Allison accidentally meets her old friend in San Francisco named Chase, and Allison quickly introduces him to Tyler. When Tyler and Chase are alone, Chase reveals that Allison is an unrighteous woman who only likes to drink and sleep with many men. Tyler, who heard this, could only be silent. Since dating, Allison has never told him about her past. As a result, Tyler is angry with her. That night, they immediately had a big fight, and in the end, Allison immediately ended their relationship there. Disappointed with Allison's behavior, Tyler finally decided to leave the party. Out there, Tyler accidentally met a beautiful and super rich girl named Holly. Holly immediately took Tyler around in the luxury car she was carrying. There Tyler began to tell her that he had broken up with his girlfriend. Holly, who knew this, immediately comforted him, and Tyler became calm. After walking around for a long time, Holly finally brought Tyler to his luxurious house. The following day Tyler woke up and met with Holly in the living room. Holly also begins to tell stories about her family, where her father had died long ago and left a lot of wealth, while her stepmother often traveled. So Holly always feels lonely every day. After telling a lot, Tyler also said a little about his life story. Holly immediately invited Tyler to have fun in the very spacious mansion. After a long time of having fun, it didn't feel like night had arrived, and they had only met all day. Holly immediately asks Tyler to make love to her. Holly's beauty tempted him. And Tyler finally gave an handslip with her. After being satisfied, Tyler realized that he had to go home because his sister was alone in his home. When he got home, his mother actually called several times, and also Allison, who texted him several times. It can be seen from the message that Allison wants to invite Tyler to meet at Allison's house the next morning. In the morning, Tyler immediately rushed to Allison's house. There Allison apologized for her behavior last night, as well as Tyler, who immediately apologized. After forgiving, they also promised not to hide secrets from each other. However, Tyler immediately remembered they had just slept together with Holly. But here, Tyler is scared and hides the secret from Allison. The next day at school, there is a new student who enters Tyler's class, and it turns out to be Holly. Holly says that her stepmother will stay here forever to take care of her. Holly's stepmother tells her to go to school. That's why she is in Tyler's class. After class ends, Tyler, Allison, Gil, and Lydia start to gather in the cafeteria, but suddenly Holly comes and introduces herself to the four of them. Holly hopes to be their best friend too. After gathering, Tyler immediately sends a message to Holly to meet on the stairs near the elevator after school. When Holly met Tyler, he tried to break up with Holly and said it was a mistake. But it seems Holly is already in love with Tyler. Next day Allison and Holly decide to go to Tyler's workplace. There Holly shows a photo of a man whose face is invisible. Tyler, who saw this, was afraid that Holly would talk about their relationship. But here, Holly didn't want to tell who the man was. Holly and Allison are getting closer day by day. Even Holly often goes to Allison's house to chat. Allison says that she has never slept with Tyler. At that time, Holly was staying at Allison's house via texting. Tyler wanted to tell her about his affair with Holly, but he found out that Holly was staying at Allison's house. In the end, Tyler decides not to say the secret. While Allison is sleeping, Holly secretly takes some of Allison's belongings and a photo of Tyler with Allison. The next day Holly even comes to Tyler's house. Holly tries to seduce him, but Tyler seems to reject her. Sometime later, Lydia began to be suspicious of Holly, who did not have social media. According to Lydia, in today's world, everyone must have a social media account, but oddly Holly doesn't have one. Holly accidentally overheard the conversation, and because she felt threatened, she finally planned to poison Lydia. On the other hand, Tyler saw Holly's stepmother talking to one of the teachers, and then Tyler introduced himself to Holly's mother. Holly's mother revealed that Holly had a mental disorder, so Holly was required to take drugs in special therapy. After that, Tyler thinks maybe Holly is a dangerous person who will destroy his relationship with Allison. While Allison and Lydia were resting in the cafeteria, Holly brought their favorite drink, but after Lydia drank the drink, suddenly Lydia had an extreme allergic reaction. So she had to be taken to the hospital. Allison goes straight to the hospital to accompany Lydia. While Tyler suspects that the drink given by Holly had been mixed with poison. Some time passed as it was after school time. Allison told Tyler that Holly was pregnant. Tyler, who heard this, did not believe it because he was afraid that the child was the result of their previous relationship. As a good friend, Allison decided to accompany Holly through her difficult times. While at Holly's house, Holly begins to share her frustration with the man who got her pregnant, who has no sense of responsibility at all. Holly is also envious of Allison and smooth relationship. The next day, Tyler was stunned when Holly came to his house and played with his little sister. Tyler quickly takes her out by force, where Tyler starts pushing Holly and telling her to get away from him. That night, Holly comes to her best friend Allison's house. Then Holly begins to tell Allison everything, that she actually had a relationship with Tyler. The photo seen from before is a photo of Tyler, and she is pregnant with Tyler's child. And Tyler deliberately pushed her to hurt the same. At night, Tyler starts visiting Lydia. Tyler says that he is suspicious of Holly because Holly may have put something in Lydia's drink earlier. After saying that, he immediately vented about himself having a relationship with Holly. But Tyler promised to solve this problem. He immediately texts Allison to meet at the beach. The next day, the two of them start to meet. It looks like Allison was very upset with Tyler because he had a one-night stand with Holly and he kept it a secret. Tyler tries to explain everything to Allison, but she ignores him. She was disappointed in him. She finally told Tyler not to call her again. The next day, when he entered the class suddenly, Tyler was called by the teacher. The teacher said that there was a student who accused Tyler of violence. The student was named Elizabeth Holly Viola. Holly has shown evidence of her injuries, that she was abused by Tyler. As a result, Tyler was suspended from school for a few days. When Tyler found out the real name of the crazy girl Elizabeth Holly Viola, he immediately searched for it on Google. Tyler was very surprised because he found an article that said that Holly had attacked other students. As a result, Elizabeth was put in a mental hospital for a while. That's one of the reasons why when Lydia searched for Holly's identity on the internet, she didn't find it at all. Because it turns out that Holly's real name is Elizabeth. Now Tyler knows that Holly is very dangerous. At night, Holly secretly breaks into Allison's house. Holly plans to kidnap Allison and lock her up in Holly's mansion. Holly immediately sent a photo of the unconscious Allison to Tyler. Then Tyler immediately rushed to Holly's house to save Allison. But before that, he messaged Gil to help him save Allison by sending Holly's home address. After sending a message to Gil, Tyler immediately went to Holly's house. On the other hand, Allison wakes up and sees herself tied to a chair. Holly also starts telling Allison that she is not pregnant. She deliberately tricked Allison into feeling disappointed with Tyler. Allison feels sorry that she didn't hear all that Tyler said, that Holly was very dangerous. Then Holly's stepmother suddenly came and saw Allison tied up. Holly's stepmother tried to save her, but from behind, Holly immediately wrapped her in plastic to make her stepmom die. When Tyler arrived at Holly's house, Tyler immediately took a sharp weapon just in case. Then Tyler accidentally saw Allison tied to the ceiling. Tyler quickly saved Allison and ran away from that place. But Holly doesn't seem to let them escape. Holly immediately pointed a gun at them both. Tyler apologized to Holly for his behavior. Suddenly Gil came and surprised Holly, so she immediately shot Tyler. Allison quickly took the sharp object Tyler had brought and stabbed it into Holly. Tyler, who was dying in his heart, said, "Love is blind, love can destroy you, anything you can do because of love. I am lucky to be with Allison and survive this tragedy." After that, it looks like Holly managed to survive and seduce the officer. Then the film ended happily, where Tyler and Allison were celebrating his sister's birthday. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and click the bell icon to get new movie recaps.